Loyalty is considered a virtue, and it is, until it isn't. Because most people are walking around loyal to things they never consciously chose. Beliefs about who they are, about what's possible for them, about how the world works, about what they deserve, about what people like them get to have. And they're defending those beliefs, protecting them, building their entire lives around them, without ever stopping to ask where they actually came from. Here's what I want you to consider. Most of what you believe about yourself and the world was handed to you before you were old enough to question it. Your parents believed certain things and you absorbed them. Your teachers believe certain things and you absorbed them. Your church, your community, your culture, all of it pouring belief into you before you had the capacity to evaluate whether any of it was actually true. And then you grew up and those beliefs came with you, not because you examined them and decided they were worth keeping, because they were so familiar, so foundational, so woven into how you see everything that you never even recognized them as beliefs. They just felt like truths. Think about the beliefs you hold about money, about success, about whether good things last, about whether someone who gets to have what you want, about whether the world is fundamentally safe or fundamentally threatening. Where did those come from? Not from your direct experience of reality, from someone else's experience, someone else's fear, someone else's limitation, someone else's unexamined belief that got handed to you as fact. And you've been loyal to it ever since. Loyal to a belief that was never yours to begin with, that formed by someone else under conditions that have nothing to do with your life right now. And that loyalty is costing you something. Here's what loyalty to someone else's belief actually looks like in practice. It looks like knowing what you want and talking yourself out of it before you even start. Because some old belief says that's not realistic, or that's not for people like you, or that wanting too much leads to disappointment. It looks like shrinking in rooms where you belong because a belief formed long ago that taking up space wasn't safe. It looks like working harder than anyone around you and still not feeling like enough because the belief underneath says enough is a destination you haven't reached yet and maybe never will. None of that is your truth. It's a borrowed truth. And you've been so loyal to it for so long that it feels like yours. The work isn't finding new beliefs to replace the old ones. It's recognizing that the beliefs running your life were never the truth about you to begin with. They were someone else's story, someone else's fear, someone else's limitation that got handed down and absorbed and mistaken for reality. And you can be grateful for the people who handed them to you. They were doing the best they could with what they had. They weren't trying to limit you. They were just passing on what was passed to them. But at some point, you get to decide what you're actually loyal to, not what was handed to you, not what you absorbed before you could question it, but what you actually know to be true about who you are and what's possible for you when you strip all of that away. What are you loyal to? It's worth sitting with, really sitting with, because the answer is running everything. Your decisions, your results, your relationships, your business, your sense of what you're allowed to have and who you're allowed to be. And a lot of it isn't even yours. If this resonates, the link is in the bio to learn more about working together, and I'll see you in the next video.